Okay, in your Algebra 2 book, this is part 1 of Chapter 2, Section 4. Okay, this is writing the equation of a line given something other than before we were given the slope, and then we were given the y-intercept. Remember that? We just took a quiz over that, where if I give you the slope and I give you the y-intercept, write the equation of a line. That's what you were asked to do in the quiz last week. Okay? If you are lost up to that point, you're going to get really lost now. Okay? So make sure you understand that. Okay? Y equals mx plus b. M is the slope. B is the y-intercept. Okay? What do those things mean? Slope is the steepness of the line. Y-intercept is where that line crosses the y-axis. Okay? Now, there are two different ways, given information, that we can find the equation of a line. Okay? Method number 1, we can actually just use slope-intercept form equation. Y equals mx plus b. The other method we can use is point slope form. And it looks like this. Okay, something that you really, really need to understand. Okay? You need to understand that this y and this y are the same y. Okay? This x and this x are the same x. They mean the same thing. Okay? They basically mean the same thing. X1 and Y1 are just a point that you're given. Y and X in point slope form are points we can plug in to see if the equation comes out true. Okay? Make sense? All right. Now, I'm not going to show you the next part. I'm going to go ahead and move on and show you examples and steps. The biggest thing you want to make sure, okay, and I think on the first quiz I actually allow you to use a note card with the steps on them. So make sure you write down the steps. That way if I say, okay, you have 5 minutes to make a note card for your quiz tomorrow, write down all the steps that you need, you have them in your notes, and you can get them easily. Okay? We're going to go ahead and use the first method, slope-intercept form, on the next problem. Okay, and here are the steps. If we're given slope -3 and point 2 -5, how do I write the equation of that line? Well, all equations of lines are most likely, or most of the time, written in, when we're talking about equations of lines, in y equals mx plus b form, right? We write all of our equations in y equals mx plus b form. Most of the time, so that you're able to plug them into a calculator, graphic calculator, and it graphs it pretty for you. You don't have it in slope-intercept form, you can't graph it on a graphic calculator or on a computer or whatever. Okay, that's the most common form of how to graph it. Now, when given this information, slope -3, point 2 -5, are we able to write y equals mx plus b, and do we have a b? And do we have an m? We have m. Do we have b? What is b? What does b stand for? The y-intercept. Is -5 the y-intercept for this line? No, it is not the y-intercept, because the x value is 2. That point, 2 -5, is way over here. That's not an x-intercept. Okay, that line's going to look something like this. Got a -3 slope, and it goes through the point 2 -5. So how do I find the y-intercept? Here's how you do it. It's right here. Okay, it's in the steps. This is the slope-intercept method. Okay, method number 1. There's another way to do it, but I'm going to show you both ways. This is the slope-intercept. This is method number 1. Okay, we're going to start By writing the formula. Well, what formula? Well, we're using slope-intercept form. So we're going to write y equals mx plus b. That's step 1. Step 2, label your point x and y. Well, which number stands for x and which number stands for y? Yeah, 2 is x, negative 5 is y. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in negative 5 for y and 2 for x. So that when I plug, basically I just did step 3, I'm plugging in values y, m, and x. Well, what is m? Negative 3. M is the slope. We're given slope. We have x, but what we don't have is b. We're not given b because we're just given a point on the line. But now that we have a point on that line, can we solve it for b? Can we figure out what b is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just do your math. So I have negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Add 6. And I get 1 equals b. That is my y-intercept. B is my y-intercept. So when I write the equation of this line, I'm going to write y equals, which we just solved for b. Sorry, I did that step. I didn't talk about it. Rewrite the formula. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, I just did that. I rewrote my formula and then plug in the values for m and b. M and b only. If you plug in a y and an x, that's not the equation of a line. That tells you if a point is on the line or not. So just plug in m and b. Well, what is m? Negative 3. And what is b? 1. That is the equation of a line. Never, when I write the equation of that line, do I use the point 2, negative 5. I only use 2, negative 5 to find the y-intercept. Okay? I only use 2, negative 5 to find the y-intercept. Once I have the y-intercept, I no longer need it to write the equation of a line. Okay? That's where kids screw up the most. Students in the past have just, they plug in that 2, negative 5, and I'm like, no! That's not the equation of a line. If you plug that into a calculator, negative 3 times 2 plus 1, or whatever, it's not gonna graph a line, it's gonna graph a point. You can't do it. It doesn't have a variable. That doesn't work. You have to have y equals mx plus b, only values for m and b. I guarantee you somebody's gonna do that. I'm gonna freak out. Okay? Don't do it. Just this is the answer. Now, using the other method. I lost my step. So let's follow those steps and solve for the equation of the line. I think this method is a lot easier, but I'm going to make you use both methods. Okay, sometimes I'll tell you use slope-intercept method. Sometimes I'll tell you use point-slope method. Sometimes I'll tell you use whatever method you choose. Okay, so write the formula. It's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Label your point x1 and y1. I'm just following my steps. Plug in x1, y1, and m. So I have y minus negative 5 equals negative 3 times x minus 2. Everybody see where I got negative 5, negative 3, and 2? I just got them from x1, y1, and m. Now, step 4, solve the equation for y. I'm trying to solve this equation for this variable right here. So I'm going to distribute, and I'm going to change this to addition and subtract 5. So I have y plus 5 equals negative 3x plus 6. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. Okay, now to solve for y, to get y by itself, I subtract 5 from both sides. So I have y equals negative 3x plus 1. Now, that's y equals mx plus b, but I use a different method. Do you see how it's the same slope and the same point, only we solved it in 2 different ways? You still get the same answer. Y equals negative 3x plus 1. Either way, you need to know both. Okay? Any questions? We're going to go ahead and do one more. It's just a little bit harder, not much.
Oh, no.
Now, let's suppose we're not given our slope. The last 2 problems, or the first 2 problems, I gave you an M. Okay? I gave you the slope. Now, I'm giving you 2 points. Well, can you find the slope given 2 points?
Yeah.
How?
Plot them.
Like x2 minus x1 over y2.
You're close.
Oh,
Flip it, yeah. Y2 minus y1. Remember doing a whole day on this? We spent a whole day on this. Finding slope given 2 points. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So, given that, go ahead and label your points x1, y1, x2, y2, and find your slope. So I have 8 minus negative 2 over negative 3 minus negative 5. So 8 minus, or 8 plus 2 is 10. Negative 3 plus 5 is 2. So what's 10 divided by 2? 5. So my M is 5. So given 2 points, step 1, find the slope. We did that. Using y2 minus y1. If you want to, in that part, put y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If you keep forgetting the formula, or you get them mixed up or whatever, put that in there at that point, so you don't forget. Now, step 2, choose a point. You're given 2 points that are on the line. Choose one. I don't care which one. It doesn't matter which one. You'll get the same answer. Somebody choose a point.
Negative 3/8.
Negative 3/8. So we're going to use negative 3/8. We're going to do it both methods so we get one more review on both methods. So if you want to follow along with my steps, first follow along with the slope-intercept method. Okay, step 1, write the formula. So y equals mx plus b. Step 2, label your point x and y. So here's x, here's y. Step 3, plug in x, y, and m. Plug in x, y, and m. So I'm going to do that. Okay, I'm going to take my x as negative 3, my y is 8, and my m is 5. I don't know b, because the x value does not have 0, so that's not my y-intercept. Once you plug them in, solve for b. Add 15 to both sides. 8 and 15 is 23. So b is 23. Can you write the equation of that line? Yes. Do I plug in an x and a y? What do I put, a y or do I put a number? A y equals 5x plus what? 23. I am going to highlight these in funky colors so you can see where I get this information. Okay? If you see down here, this is my 23 that we found. That goes right here. That's the y-intercept. B equals 23. So y equals mx plus b. Where did I get m? Right here. Question? We have our M. What was M? Whoops.
5.
Okay, M is 5. And what's my point? We can pick either point, but what point did we choose?
Negative 3/8.
Negative 3/8. Now, step 1, write your formula. Y minus Y1 equals M times X minus X1. Step 2, label your point X1, Y1. Step 3, plug in your M, X1, and Y1. So Y minus, oop, I forgot a 1 there. Sorry. Y minus 8 equals 5 times X minus negative 3. After you get it plugged in, solve for Y. So start simplifying. So I have 5 times X plus 3. I change that to positive. Distribute. So I have 5x plus 15, y minus 8. Add 8 to both sides. So y equals 5x plus 23. So 15 plus 8 is 23. Same answer, different way to do it. Like there's more than one way to kill a deer, there's more than one way to write the equation of a line. Any questions? You are going to have to do this. Now, if you go home and you don't practice this, by the time you get here tomorrow, you will forget. I promise. You have to practice. Okay? Especially if you're using both methods. I have a worksheet. I want you to practice. Once you get it, you're fine. We're going to have a quiz over it. I want to see where you're at tomorrow. Practice. Okay? We'll just have a quick quiz on the calculators. I want to see where you're at. Any questions? Okay. What?